I've been showing on the CircuitPython Parsec a few weeks of different fundamental things you can do with a Neotrellis. This is 4 Neotrellises bolted together. It's actually 4 Mechatrellises, but it's the same code, same chip. Uses Seesaw to integrate buttons and lights. I am able to light up those buttons using MIDI controllers. So you can see here I've got a little MIDI controller hooked up to the computer. And as I press those keys, you're seeing different LEDs light up on the matrix display. So this gives us essentially a 64 MIDI note visualizer, a very simple visualizer. There are many more sophisticated things you can do with MIDI visualization, but I just wanted to show notes, I think 24 to 87 on the MIDI keyboard. The way this works is I have all of the same setup as before. So what are we doing? I'm importing Adafruit MIDI, I'm importing USB MIDI, I'm importing Adafruit MIDI note on and note off. So those are 2 types of messages we're dealing with, and there are lots of other message types that you can use, but we're ignoring those. And then I'm also importing the Neotrellis multi-trellis stuff to make it sort of high level to deal with all of those LEDs right there. So now if you take a look at, I've got MIDI set up over USB, and it's the same MIDI setup as before, but instead of using it as MIDI headed outward, I'm actually reading MIDI or MIDI coming in. So I've got a fundamental change right here in the main loop. So it's all contained down here. In the main loop, while true, I have a variable called message, which equals MIDI.receive. So that is the sort of high level call to, hey, go check and see if we have any MIDI messages coming in. If we get a MIDI message, we check to see, is it a note on message? There's a whole slew of different message types, which I'm not looking for, but if I look for a note on or a note off, I can deal with those. So if the note is a note on and the velocity is greater than 0, then we'll consider that a note has just been played, and so I want to light it up. So then we do our conversion of the note that comes with the MIDI message. So let's say it's note 34, and we go and check with the note to XY function which one of those XY positions on the grid is that, what correlates to that. Once we grab that, we go ahead and light up that color based on a little table that we have. And I'm also printing a message down at the bottom there. You can see that's note 77, which is grid position 33. And then a note off message when I release. The note off is just contained by if the message is a note off or we have a note on with a velocity of 0. Different MIDI software or hardware can do it both ways. But either it's a MIDI note off message or it's a MIDI note on with velocity 0. Then we do the same thing. We just check to see what position that is on the grid, and then we draw our color from this other table, which is the row dim colors. And so that is how you can light up your trellis, Neotrellis, Mechatrellis, using MIDI notes coming from your computer over USB. And that is your CircuitPython Parsec.